Good evening. You're watching ITV News Central. A 13-year-old boy is in a critical condition in hospital tonight after being shot in the back in the Hockley area of Birmingham. Police say they believe the teenager's injuries will be life-changing. Pablo Taylor sent this report from near the Hockley flyover.
Well, 24 hours ago, this area was completely cordoned off by police. Officers say a 13-year-old boy was walking here at around 7 o'clock last night when he was shot in the back. Well, he was rushed to hospital where he remains in a critical condition with injuries believed to be life-changing. Well, just a short while ago, I spoke to the owner of a shop just over there. He told me that last night he heard a loud bang, and shortly afterwards, a young teenage boy came running into his store trying to hide, saying that someone was trying to shoot him.
But he come and running, he say like, someone started shooting and like, protect me. I said, brother, you could probably stand in my shop for 5-6 minutes, but you have to go because you put my shop at risk and everything else like that. So he goes, yeah, cool. So after he left in 5-6 minutes, and then after all the police came and they took this. I gave the police the CCTV.
Well, police are now urging any drivers with dash cams who travel through here to check that footage. As you can see, it's a very busy area. They say any information could prove vital in trying to identify those responsible.
Pablo Taylor reporting there. The trust, which runs Dudley's main hospital, has been fined £2.5 million after being taken to court over the deaths of 2 patients in 2018. The mother of one of those who died, teenager Casey Jane Robinson, said it had been devastating to hear how her daughter could be alive today had it not been for failings by the trust. She spoke to Wesley Smith after the sentencing in Wolverhampton.
This was to be a day of justice for the families of Casey Jane Robinson and Natalie Billingham, although the district judge said, of course, they would have to live with their loss for the rest of their lives. Casey Jane was just 14 years old, Natalie 33, and a mother of 6. Casey Jane's mother gave her reaction to the verdict as she left court.
I just hope that this changes things. I hope it shakes up the NHS all across the country, to that they need to be looking into what I'm doing. Is it good enough? If there's improvements, I need to make them, and no one should ever have to go through what our families have gone through today. But no matter whatever fine, whatever the cost, the money, the amount, it's not going to bring Casey Jane or Natalie back.
Can you tell us what kind of girl Casey Jane was?
Oh.
That's it, Teddy.
Yes, this was Casey Jane's Teddy. This went through operations with her and years of different treatments, and got washed more times than I don't know what, and when we went on trips and everywhere. This was her favourite Teddy. But she was just amazing. She was an absolutely amazing soul. She was magical.
Natalie's family appeared too distressed to speak on camera as they left court today. The court heard the Dudley Group NHS Foundation Trust had failed to act to improve its procedures despite a number of spot-check visits by the Care Quality Commission at Russell's Hall Hospital. The judge said had these recommendations been acted upon, Casey Jane and Natalie might still be alive today. Both patients died from sepsis early in 2018. The trust had failed to follow the recommended sepsis care protocol, in spite of this being highlighted in a spot check by the Care Quality Commission. In a statement, the chief executive of the Dudley Group NHS Foundation Trust, Diane Wake, said, "We're deeply sorry that our care did not meet the standards Casey Jane, Natalie and their families had a right to expect. Although it will offer the families little comfort, we've learned from the failings that led to Casey Jane and Natalie's tragic deaths and made fundamental changes in the way our care is provided." In sentencing today, the judge said that the starting point for a fine could be around £10 million, but this was significantly reduced because it would be coming from frontline services and could impact the trust's ability to provide its services and therefore affect patients. The judge acknowledged that the trust had improved its services significantly, including extra staff and resources, but that its failures in the past had exposed potentially thousands of people to risk. He thanked the families for their cooperation and their time and sent his condolences. Wesley Smith, ITV News, Wolverhampton.
Next tonight, a major investigation into the amount of sewage being illegally dumped into rivers and streams has been launched by the Environment Agency and the regulator Ofwat. It will look at more than 2,000 treatment plants across the country in response to growing anger over sewage being released into waterways. Last month, ITV News Central revealed how some sewage outflows along the River Wye in Herefordshire were open for months during 2020. The Environment Agency says any water company found breaching its licence could face fines and prosecution, but some campaigners say this investigation should have happened a decade ago. A review is being launched into how tram services in the region are operated. The West Midlands Metro tram network is currently suspended after a number of cracks were found on the trams. The independent review, which was prompted by Mayor Andy Street, will look into how Transport for West Midlands runs the service. Following the resignation of Conservative MP Owen Paterson, nominations closed this afternoon for the parliamentary by-election for his North Shropshire constituency. These are the candidates who will be standing. Businesses in Wolverhampton are being urged to play their part in tackling youth unemployment. The City Council is offering organisations one-off grants between £500 and £10,000 to help get young people into jobs. A brother and sister have been reunited after more than 3 years apart, thanks to a surprise visit organised by her care home in Sedgley and Dudley. 84-year-old Rosemary Bywater was speaking to her brother John on the phone, as she does every day, when he suddenly appeared by her side. He lives in Devon and can't drive, so 2 care home staff drove the 7-hour round trip to collect him and his wife. The siblings were always close, and they grew up to run neighbouring hotels in Torquay. Finally tonight, a walking trail has been unveiled in Birmingham featuring 12 colourful snowmen sculptures that represent the 12 days of Christmas. And if these statues look a little familiar, it's because they take their inspiration from a well-known source. Callum Watkinson explains.
We're walking in the air.
Few things conjure up the magic of Christmas like Raymond Briggs' classic story about a little boy who makes friends with a snowman, and the smash hit animation it inspired. Now the tale has been revived again, with 12 colourful sculptures dotted around Birmingham city centre for people to find. There's one for each of the 12 days of Christmas. Being asked to paint the 3 French hens has a special significance for artist Jess Perrin.
The reason why I wanted to go and study animation was because I fell in love with the Raymond Briggs, the Snowman, when I watched it when I was a child. And it just feels like I've kind of come full circle, really, because I've loved the Snowman for so many years and now I get to paint my own.
This is the 3rd time Birmingham has hosted a trail like this. It was bears in 2017 and owls 2 years before. In the past, it's featured in the summer, though. This is the first festive version.
We decided to make a priority to come up with a family-friendly trail this Christmas to sit with the other great attractions in the city, and it's been a great privilege to work with lots of local artists such as Jess, and they came up with this concept. It was one we all love.
The 12 statues are all within an easy walk of the Christmas market. They'll be there until January the 6th. Callum Watkinson, ITV News.
It's time now for the weather with Des.
Making the most of it, whatever the weather. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Central Weather.
Hi, great to see you. Thanks for joining me for your overnight weather. Our weather story of late hasn't been bad at all. Very settled conditions, broken cloud, which means we've seen decent bright skies coming through, and phenomenal temperatures, 4 and 5 degrees above the average for the time of year. Unfortunately, that is all set to change. I'm sure some of you are desperate for some sort of colder air. That happens by the time we get into Sunday, temperatures dipping down to around 7 degrees. We're pulling the air directly down from the north, and there is a squeeze on the isobars, so it is going to feel fairly chilly. chilly. As we head into the overnight story, again, mild conditions, buoyant temperatures, a little bit cooler in the more rural spots. The rain stays away. You may just see a touch of drizzle towards the hills. Here's that weather front sinking down. It is fracturing as it goes, so we may just see a couple of light showers, but certainly nothing too problematic. Now, I want to draw your attention to Monday and Tuesday, the beginning of the week. High pressure is still the dominating feature, but it changes position, so we pull our air in from across the west. So yes, we're still seeing settled conditions and brighter skies, but it's not going to feel as chilly. Tonight, temperatures dip down to around 7 degrees, and by the time we get into tomorrow, which is a beautiful day, wonderful temperatures of 12.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Central Weather.
That's all from us this Friday evening. Have a lovely weekend. Good night.